Back in 1789, the French Revolution broke out due to the absolute power of the king and social discontent, since the Enlightened ideas had arrived. This led Louis XVI to convene the States General on May 5, 1789, where they took the notebooks of grievances written by each state. Meanwhile, on that day,
Good morning, Your Majesties. It's time to wake up. Here you have your breakfast.
You must do it faster. I'm grateful. Shut up.
Haven't you learned that you have to bring us our most luxurious clothes for a day as important as today? We have to stand out from the rest!
I'm coming. Excuse me, Your Majesties.
Let's go. Music. Can you help me, please? Thank you.
When they arrived at the assembly,
It's the moment. Come on. It smells back like a peasant. Okay, come on.
we demand a vote per state.
I disagree. I demand a vote per head.
Shut up. For none. This assembly is dissolved.
The members of the federal state declare ourselves the National Assembly.
Once this happened, they became the National Assembly and moved to the ball game room.
We promise not to dissolve until we have provided a France with a constitution.
Two months later, specifically on July 7th of that same year,
Let anyone who wants to support me in the idea of transforming us into Constituent Assembly manifest. 1, 2, 3, most! Officially we are the Constituent Assembly.
meanwhile, in the castle,
Music.
Your Majesty, they have created a constitution assembly.
What?
We have to dissolve it.
I agree with you. Send the army!
Feeling that the French army will dissolve the Constituent Assembly on July 14 in the city of Paris, the provision approved by the Constituent Assembly were the abolition of feudalism, a declaration of the right of man and of the citizen at the Constitution on 1791, transforming it into a legislative assembly. During the storming of the Bastille in the palace,
People want us to move to Tulleria in order to keep up under control. What do we do?
They want our heads, so we better do them biting.
Okay.
but a few days later,
It's time to exile to Austria now that everyone is asleep.
Perfect. Let's get away.
Stop, or we will kill you.
Okay.
after this, the Legislative Assembly appointed a new assembly, the Convention. The monarchy was abolished, the Republic was proclaimed, and Louis XVI was guillotined.
Please no. Please no. Please no.
Hello, here we are with Marie Antoinette and Louis XVI. Now I'm going to ask them some questions. What was your feeling when you knew that the National Assembly had been proclaimed?
I imagine it, but it seemed an unforgivable attack on us. Everything that we could have achieved of this town, and they didn't allow us.
Do you think there is another way apart from absolutism?
Never. Absolutism is present, past, and will be the future of my legacy. I can't imagine the French people governing themselves because God chose me for this position.
When did you see your monarchy in danger?
Sincerely, when the illustrated ideas began to spread and reach the ears of French people.
What do you think about the third state waiting to have more power than you established?
I think that they will never succeed because if they have that life, it's because they haven't been chosen by God and have born into a poor family. Are you still recording?
Give me the microphone. We want to send a message for the people.
Stop trying to take power away from us.
You will never get it over our course. Let's eat them cakes!
a few years later,
Of the power that my crown grants me, I recognize you as a king of Spain and the Indies through the Treaty of Valencia, and with this, I live in Spain. You are the king. Congratulations.
In 1814, after the War of Independence, Fernando VII returned to Spain, and previously the Central Supreme Board had approved the Constitution of 1812 and the works of the Courts of Cadiz. These recognized individual rights, national sovereignty, and division of powers. But when Fernando found out
I have some news. The Constitution of 1812 is abolished and I annul the works of the Cadiz courts.
one's pronouncement triumphs, and Fernando VII
Faced with this situation, I have resolved to deny obedience at that iniquitous order and to declare the Constitution of 1812 as valid to save the homeland and to appease our brothers in America and makes our compatriots happy. Long life to the Constitution!
You are sure that I swear to the Constitution and I accept that you establish the works of the Cadiz courts.
In the meantime,
There Saint Alliance. I need your help to reestablish my absolute monarchy.
once Spain was invaded by the French army, together with Fernando VII, they managed to reestablish absolutism.
Absolutism is restored in this country from now on.
A few years later, in 1830,
It's coming, Fernando! Call the doctors now!
Doctors!
Push! I can't! I can't! Push! Push!
He's beautiful. Here you are.
You, my dear person Isabel, you will be the future queen.
because of Fernando VII's illness, he thought it appropriate to renounce to Salic law, thus imposing the pragmatic sanction, allowing his daughter to succeed him.
The Salic law is repealed and I impose the pragmatic sanction, so my daughter Isabel can succeed me on the thrones before the few years of my life that I have left. Promise me that you will take care of her and love her for both of us and make her queen.
Don't leave me alone now. I cannot exercise this position alone.
This produced a confrontation since Carlos Maria Isidro, Fernando's brother, and until his successor, did not agree. I need to possess the throne I deserve.
We absolutists will defend you. We want you as a successor.
We won't let Isabel assess the throne. She's a woman.
I need your support. You can leave me alone now. I'm not responsible for the damage my husband may have caused you.
The liberals accept your request and support it.
Promise me that you will take care of her and love her for both of us and make her win.
Don't leave me alone now. I cannot exercise this position alone.
After his death, the first castle. In 1839, the Carlist War ended, with the victory of Isabel and the embrace of Vergara.
Hello, here we are with Maria Cristina and Fernando VII. Now, I am going to ask them some questions. How did you feel when you found out that you were going to be the father of a girl and not of a boy?
I feel scared, and that's why I had to act as quickly as possible before my death, so that my daughter Isabel could succeed me on the throne. Therefore, I repelled the Salic law and imposed the pragmatic sanction because I didn't want my brother to be my successor.
How did you feel when you knew that your husband had only a few days to live and that you would have to carry out the fight for the throne of your daughter through the Carlist War?
I was defenseless, so I relied on the liberals apologizing for the damage caused by my husband and promising that if my daughter got the throne, I would give them a better future with a constitution that represents them.
When did you swear to the Constitution after the triumph of Rafael de Riego's pronouncement in Cabezas de San Juan?
I was afraid that it could go to more, but by swearing and saying my power in danger, made me ask as quickly as possible, and for that reason I asked for help to the absolutist powers of the Holy Alliance, to be able to restore absolutism.
Why didn't you let Carlos Maria Isidro exercise power?
I owned my husband these 5 sins. Minutes before he died, he asked me to do everything possible so that our daughter would succeed him in the throne. He had risked everything he had been depiling for the first time, allowed that had been in prose for a long time.